Everyone, it's me, Donna. I'm making this video to talk about new ideas that I have for an Alabama state lottery. And of course, I've made previous videos talking about different ideas that I've had, and I've had time to think on it. And this is my current updated ideas. So, as many of you know out there, Alabama currently does not have a state lottery. I just wish we would get one because there's always a lot of talk about it, but it just never seems to happen. And I think that we need to learn mistakes of other states and all that. We need to learn from all that and create a good system that has defined documentation, that sets up lines and checks and balances to make sure that there's no dipping from one fund to the other. There definitely needs to be boundaries, and that way, if everything is set up and defined where everything needs to go, then they can just take what they need from that area and let that be that. So that's how I think it needs to be done. Okay. All right. I think, just like with other states, I think it needs to be set up to where you can buy lottery tickets at any participating lottery outlet out there. All right. Also, I think bingo halls can be set up either in cities or counties that want them. I think that would be a wonderful idea. Private enterprises can set them up a bingo facility, and then they can distribute the money. Like, they can keep so much percentage, and then the county, city, state, whatever, can get the rest. Okay. Also, I think there should be new casinos built. But I think what I feel like should be done, first of all, especially in Northwest Alabama, since this used to be a Native American community quite a few hundred years ago, before the Native Americans were rounded up and sent on the Trail of Tears. And then, of course, the ones that remained were treated very poorly. Some had to go into hiding and all that. And of course, some of these people were my ancestors, as well as many other people within this state and other areas. So, the more I have found out about my family tree and found out about these people, the sadder it actually makes me feel. So I just feel like what would be great is if some Native Americans could get together from this area and buy up some land, say somewhere between Florence and Muscle Shoals, a big plot of land, and set up a reservation and build a casino as well as a theme park. I think that would be wonderful. And I have discussed, my theme park ideas before. I think it would be wonderful if they could be able to do that and use kind of like gambling funds or whatever to get it going, and then they could, distribute the money back to the counties and the state and all that stuff. Okay, and I will discuss that here shortly. Okay, and I just think that the casinos need to be ran by the reservations. I just think that, they know how to run it. They've been, Native Americans have been running casinos for several years, and they do it well. So I think they should be in charge of their own casinos. All right. And my ideas for actually setting up accounts from the state lottery funds would be as follows. Now, officials can do whatever they want, because I do plan on sharing these ideas with lawmakers out there and other officials. These are just my ideas as a citizen of this state. But, lawmakers can do whatever they want, of course. But under my ideas, I think it would be wonderful if 50% of the funds could go to a state-ran healthcare fund. That's different from Medicaid and all that. It would be a totally different thing, and I will be discussing this in this video, okay? All right, I think 15% could be put into the general fund to be used however they use the general fund, okay? I think 15% could go to the schools, like pre-K, from pre-K all the way up, through primary and secondary schools. Also, trade schools, as well as the colleges or whatever, they could get some of this money. And there can be scholarships set up each year. So many scholarships for children that make, a certain amount of grade point averages to get college and, various other trade school scholarships. That way they can be trained for the workforce out there. Okay. Also, I think 5% should go into the road funds to go to, the road funds that they currently have to help fix these roads, because Alabama has some pretty bad roads, especially the country roads. They are in awful condition. 3% can go to animal shelters, because I've noticed it's always in the news about how the animal shelters are hurting. They don't have enough room. They don't have enough things that they need to take care of the animals and stuff like that. I definitely think that we need that. This state terribly needs that. And we have a huge problem with dogs, especially where I live. There's no leash law, and dogs run rampant, especially big dogs, big vicious dogs like pit bulls and everything else. People will buy up these dogs and just let them run loose in the neighborhoods, and they don't care, and so they go on to other people's property and try to attack people and everything else, especially in my neighborhood. There's dogs everywhere, and I don't like it. And so, something needs to be done about that. I think there needs to definitely be a leash law. I don't think there needs to be a strict leash law, but I think there needs to be a law specifically for dogs, because cats are not a big deal. I don't care. Cats are not really what I would call vicious, your average house cat. And if they are, normally they stay away from people. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to even get a stray cat to come up to you. And so by the time they do, usually they become used to you and they're not liable to attack you. Like, it's very rare that I have ever heard of someone being attacked by a neighbor's cat. I mean, I'm sure it happens, but it's very rare. So cats do not bother me one bit. It's these big vicious dogs that nobody seems to give a crap about. Once they buy them, they're everybody else's problem. So I think there needs to be a law set up to where either you put your dog on a leash or you keep it in a pen or something, to that way it won't be your neighbor's problem. Okay. Not that I have anything against dogs. It's just I don't want to be attacked. I don't enjoy walking out my door and worried that a pit bull is going to come up and attack me. I don't like that feeling. And I think something needs to be done about that. So, and I think that if there needs to be more animal control, that 3%, not only for the shelters, but also the animal control vehicles and things like that, to where they can come around, and if they see these dogs out here roaming around, they can load them up and take them to the shelter, and if give the owners so many days to come pick them up. They can put out a notice, and if they don't come pick them up, and then they, of course, if they do come pick them up, they're going to be fined, and you're going to be told that you need to put your dog on a leash or a fence. Okay. And if they come, and they're going to be microchipped, and that way, if your dog is caught out again, then there's going to be heavier fines and all that stuff. And then after so many days, like if they get your animal, if they have to pick up your animal after so many times, it's going to be re-put into the system and sold out to a family, or if, which hopefully it'll be like a low kill shelter or whatever, but basically the animal will go through the system of the shelter rules or whatever. I don't want to get into specifics about that, but but just something needs to be done. Okay. And I just, I'm not a huge animal lover, but I do care to an extent. And I think that things need to be done to better Alabama's animal shelter system. Okay. So I think money needs to be allocated towards that, okay, and used wisely in the area. Okay. Also, I think 3% needs to go to parks and recreation because there's not really much being done in this area that I live in as far as parks and recreation. It would be nice to see more parks pop up and more areas set up for families and people that want to get out and maybe walk and just enjoy nature and just enjoy being in that type of setting. So I would like to see money go for that. Also, I would like to see 4% of the money go not only back into building new, having grants to private individuals who want to build gambling gambling halls, like bingo halls is what I'm trying to say. They can set up bingo halls and stuff like that, and the money will also be to, maintain that and all that. That would be nice. But also for economic development as far as malls, I would like to see maybe the state get more involved in building more malls, more shopping outlets, things like that, because I've noticed in a lot of areas, companies like Walmart, not that I'm against Walmart. I'm glad we got Walmart, but it seems to be where when it comes into an area, a lot of the other businesses shut down and you're just stuck with a Walmart. I don't like that. I think that crap needs to stop. I understand that it's business and they are in the business to make money, but I think a fail-safe system needs to be set up to where, shut that door better than that, to where malls and stuff like that won't be shut down, like to where they can keep running and people can shop there and all that. I just feel like just more needs to be done to keep those going, to see more of them built, because who wants to be all cramped up in just Walmart? Like, I start getting claustrophobic when I go to Walmart because I know there's not really much else as far as shopping in this area. And you usually end up, by the time you get in an aisle, here comes 10 more people right down that aisle looking in the same area that you're looking in. It makes me claustrophobic. I know I'm not the only person on this planet, and I understand, the world does not revolve around me and all that. But at the same time, you kind of wish there was more space and more places for people to go to shop, to where not everyone is cramped into one building, one shopping thing. I think there needs to be more done to create more shopping outlets for people to have a variety and for things to be more spaced out. That way, because I know a lot of times people start getting frustrated when, you've got to go to Walmart. Everybody dreads, like, oh my God, I got to go to Walmart. And so you feel claustrophobic, so you want to hurry up and get out of there. And then next thing you know, you find yourself buying stuff online. Whereas, not that I'm against buying online. I think it's great that people can buy online. I'm an online seller myself. So yeah, I think it's a wonderful thing. But at the same time, I like brick and mortar. And I think people need to be able to have that option to where they can go shopping and enjoy themselves and socialize, which I know the pandemic has put a hammer and all that. But even before the pandemic, I noticed a lot of places were shutting down, a lot of the malls, a lot of the other businesses. And it's almost as if they knew something was coming. And that's kind of a scary thought there. But besides all that, I just think we need to bring it back. There needs to be more effort into bringing it back, as well as following the social distancing laws and all that. But still have this available, and people need to get over it, and we need to understand that, we can overcome this virus eventually. Things will die down, and we'll hopefully get back to some sense of normalcy if people will let it. And hopefully people will be able to get out and enjoy themselves and shop and do whatever they want to do. And I just think it would be great for the area, especially if they started paying well, if these businesses woke up and realized you need to do more as far as, you don't need to keep running with a skeleton crew, for one thing. And you need to pay your employees better, and you need to offer them raises and all that, and incentives, signing on bonuses, all that, to keep people wanting to work. I think that's important. So once, hopefully, that stuff starts getting fixed, then things will pick up and life will be better. Okay, so I'll shut up about that. All right, and last but not least, I think 5% needs to go to the Medicaid fund for this state. You always hear about how there's not enough being put into the Medicaid fund, and, they have issues and blah, blah, blah. Well, I think if 5% of this money went into that, then I think that would be a huge help, and it would help kids, who need Medicaid and all that. So yeah. All right. So, as I've said, I think that, the lottery tickets should be available at all your participating retailers, okay, for people to purchase. I think 75, as far as the casinos on the Indian reservations, I think the Indians and the reservations should be able to keep 75% of their profits, okay? And I think 10% should go to the county, all right? And I think 15% should go back into the state lottery fund. Okay, I think that's fair. Okay, as for the bingo halls, I think the owner should be allowed to keep 75% of their earnings, and I think 5% should go to the city. If it's in a city, if it's in the city limits, and if it's not in the city limits, then it should just go to the county. But if it's in a city limits, then the city should be getting 5% of that. Otherwise, okay, if they are in a city, the city gets 5% and the county gets 5%. But if it's just within the county and outside the city limits, then the county needs to get 10%. That's how I feel about it, okay? So maybe I need to reword that in my thing. Okay, and then as with the casinos, 15% of the bingo hall earnings needs to go to the state lottery fund. Okay, I think that would be a good idea. Okay, all right. And as I have mentioned about the healthcare fund, I think that this is how it should be ran. I think for adults, you need to be 18 years or older to qualify. Okay, I think that and you can't be covered under Medicaid or Medicare or whatever. So if you are covered under these systems, then you can't qualify for this, because those are already taking care of most of your medical bills and all that. Okay. So if you're not under these programs, and for instance, if you're a single person and you make $25,000 or less, okay, then you qualify. And if you're a couple and you make $50,000 or less, then you can qualify under this system, okay? And you must be a resident of the state for 6 months or longer, okay, to qualify, okay? All right. And if you are single and you make below $25,000 a year, okay, if you're single and you make below $12,500 a year, you will get $5,000 on your card. Like, they will give you a card, maybe each year or ever so many years, however they want to do it. Okay, they will give you a card, and if you make below $12,500, or if you make that or below, then you will get $5,000 to use for medical procedures. Okay, in other words, it cannot be used at a gas station or grocery store or anything like that. It has to be for medical purposes. Okay, so it's strictly for that. So you take it to your healthcare provider and you hand them your card, and they will process it, and and then some can give you your balance or whatever, or you can go online and find out what your balance is. Okay. But anyway, all right. And if you make $12,501 up to $50,000 as a single person, then you will get $2,500 to be used strictly for medical purposes. Okay. think. All right, and basically, let's see. What did I say about? Okay, and then for the couples, it would be $50,000 or whatever. Same thing for them. Each individual will get, like, if you make up to 50,000 a year as a couple, then each person will get 2,500. If you make less than that, then you will get the $5,000 each. Okay. So anyway, let's see. I may have to reword that when I actually try to send it to the lawmakers out there. But anyway, that's kind of how that goes. All right. And this card can be used as either a primary or secondary. So, for instance, if you don't have any other kind of medical coverage, then this would definitely be your primary, and you can just hand them the card, and whatever procedure you're having done, or office visit or whatever, as long as it doesn't go past $5,000, it will cover, or it will cover up to $5,000, okay, within a year, okay? But if you use it as a secondary, then whatever your primary doesn't pay, it will cover it up to $5,000, okay? All right. Unless you're the ones that get the $2,500, then it would be just $2,500 for you, okay? So let me clear that up, okay? All right, under this service, things like doctor visits and treatment would be covered. Hospital tests and treatment would be covered. Emergency services such as ambulances and all that, that will be covered. And then, of course, ER visits and even, these other healthcare facilities that kind of act like an emergency room or whatever, they would qualify. All dental care, regardless whether it's braces or teeth pulling or whatever you need to have done with your dental, that will be covered. And all your eye care, your glasses, everything, all that will be covered. And chiropractor services. So if you have a bad back and you have to go to a chiropractor, it will be covered as long as whatever you're having done doesn't go past your yearly limit. So that means, any of the procedures, everything would add up. Say, like, if you go to the doctor one day and it costs you $200, that will be deducted. And then you go to the eye doctor tomorrow and then that costs you, say, $400 total, then that will be deducted, and everything will be calculated up. And then, of course, I have thought about it. I think that whatever doesn't get used for that year, then it's just put back into the system. In other words, it does not roll over. So you won't be able to use it again next year. It won't be, in other words, it won't be added on to next year. So it will just be taken out of the system. So if you don't use it, say if you only use $1,000, then you've lost the rest of that money. So that's how it will be. Which, I mean, in reality, that would be a great thing. I mean, if I knew I didn't have to go to the doctor that much, a certain year or whatever, and all that, that would be wonderful in my opinion, because that means you're not unhealthy. Like you're staying away from the doctors and you're doing pretty good that year. You know what I mean? But anyway, to requalify each year after or just before your expiration date, you will have to sign back up onto the system, and because they will, when you first sign up, you will create an account, and on that account will have all your information and everything. And so then the next year, when you sign back up, whenever that is that you choose to sign back up, if you want to wait till after the expiration date and you want to go without coverage until whenever you decide to sign back up, well then fine, that's fine. But either way, you sign back up and it will have all your information there. And if there's anything that needs to be updated or anything like that, you just go ahead and update it and you resubmit it, and then you requalify again for that year, and then they'll add your, say, 5,000 or 2,500, whatever you qualify for, that will be added to your account to be used up that year. Okay, so once you've used it and the money's gone, then it's gone. That's how it will be. Okay, and then whatever you don't use will be lost. Okay. Alrighty, let's see. That's pretty much it. And then the good thing about children, though, is if you have a child and they don't qualify for Medicaid, or for some reason you haven't signed them up for Medicaid and they're a U.S. citizen and they're from age 0 to 17 years old, no matter how much you make, as long as you don't make above $50,000, they will automatically get $5,000 on their card, because there won't be anything held against children, because the goal is to have healthy children in this state and to, take care of their medical needs. So they won't be under the guidelines that an adult would be. So they can qualify, they would just be automatically given $5,000. So even if you make $50,000, you can feel good knowing that, okay, my children will have a $5,000 card to use towards their medical bills. So if they need to go to the doctor, emergency room, whatever, I can do that. I don't have to worry about it, And then if you have insurance on that child, well, that's just an extra thing. That's just wonderful. So you know that your child is hopefully fully covered. So anyway, that's my thoughts on that. I'm sorry to bore people half to death. I know some people find this very boring, but it's just something that I did want to share with folks out there and see what you think and see what your ideas are on it. I just think it would be a good idea to do this. And I just think that it's time Alabama got a lottery. I'm tired of people dragging their feet. And even if this is completely ignored and we just get a doggone lottery, I will be thrilled. But since I have, the time to think about it, I just decided to put my own 2 cents in. So anyway, we will talk to you guys later. So bye.